Welcome to, well, we're not in the Book Room Comedy Club tonight because I kind of took that over with some stuff that we're filming for my channel. So we've moved upstairs and we're in the gaming nook, and of course tonight the big draw is Zoe Kirk-Robinson, and stand up and make some noise, even if it's only virtually in the chat room. Love to hear from you. Do chat throughout the stream. But it's going to be making some noise for Zoe Kirk-Robinson and her comedy routines, the third one that she's done, so treat her gently. And now, without further ado, this person needs no further introduction.
Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Zoe Kirk-Robinson and we aren't in the Book Room Comedy Club, but this is the Book Room Comedy Club. And it's just one of those things. Tonight, well, what can I say? We're here because Jenny decided that the best thing she could do, the best thing on a night when we're doing a live stream in front of the books, could be to make a model replica of North Wales on our dining table. And apparently we can't move this model replica until it dries, because if all of the water is still there, well, all the little people might drown. So we just got to let it sit there, let it set. And that's one of those annoying things. Jen is currently pulling faces at me off the camera, so if I giggle, that's why. I am trying my best to keep all of this together. But guys, wow, thank you for coming out. It's nice to see we've got so many numbers in tonight. And I actually got your chat on the screen this time. It's weird. I've got I've got some feedback. You can't hear it, but I've got some feedback. It's great. So we're here, and what can I say? We're in week 2 of lockdown, so once again, we're in another day of the nightmare hellscape that 2020 has become. So, do you remember when we were kids? Remember when television and books told us about life in the 21st century, tomorrow's world and all that? Do you remember all the things that they used to say? How it was going to be great. We were going to have people living on the moon. We were going to have space travel. Information would be sent and received at the speed of thought. It was going to be amazing. Well, back in the 20th century when I was a kid, I watched those shows. I read those books. I liked what I saw. I really looked forward to living in the future. Now I'm here. Kind of want to go back, please. This isn't what I signed up for. Can I see the manager? What can I say? Science fiction is like a travel agent con artist. It's one of those situations. They show you all the really nice stuff. It's set up as if it's a nice photograph, and it's carefully positioned to show you only the things that you'll want to see. Doesn't matter about all the stuff behind. There's a massive dumpster fire over there. A load of people that are killing each other over there. Back here, it's just a giant pile of poo. But none of that's in the camera. None of that's on the frame. So you see that little bit, and that's what you're sold on. The minute you sign up for that holiday, though, and you get there to your destination, you find out that your hotel is a cardboard box on top of a skip full of live rats. Well, you're a bit stuck then. So, you might as well make the most of it. That's what you think, isn't it? You'll go to the bar. But it turns out the bar is just a septic tank with a straw in it. Enjoy! That's the situation we're in. We were sold an amazing life in the future. And what we got is this. But we kind of do have space travel. It wasn't all made up and it wasn't all to sell as scrap. We kind of got space travel, but you probably won't be able to do it. We don't have people living on the moon, so we can't get them on that. We can get them on false advertising, but the travel agent's shut now. It's locked down, so you can't get them. It's terrible. It really is. And we do sort of have information that flows at the speed of thought, but if your neighbours have just bought an Xbox or a PS5, well, you won't be getting any of it because they're going to be downloading updates. It's just, that's how life is. That's the way it is. Jenny is making hand signals at me. This is a strange situation. So, we were delivered the wrong item. I think our future, It's still out there. It's just not got to us yet. Because you know who's delivering it? Probably Amazon. And Amazon have been having a bit of an issue in the last few days, haven't they? Oh my goodness, if you saw this on Twitter. Guys, a guy on Twitter asked Amazon why he couldn't see the rugby. Because Amazon are promising all of this rugby. It will come straight to Prime. He wants to watch it on Prime. He's in Northern Ireland. He said to Amazon, why can't I get it? And they said, well, you're in Ireland, so it's only available in the UK. Amazon, what are you doing, man? Because, what can I say? Where do you even start with that? Now, I'm not saying that, Jen, what are you doing? Jen's making all kinds of noise. She's moving all my toys. She's trying to mess with me. Jen is the ultimate heckler because she's brought props. She's brought a monster. What are you doing to me, woman? Hello, monster. Don't stare at me like that. I don't even know if you can see him on screen because I'm kind of right at the edge. She's brought up... I'm trying to do comedy here and Jen is just trying to be the worst kind of heckler. You brought instruments of torture with you. I can't get the staff, guys. I really can't. But we're talking about Amazon. Now, I am not saying that Amazon have become so powerful that they can move the borders or affect global change like that. But last time I checked, we hadn't lost an entire country without anyone... Because someone would notice. You know all those little dots that are on the ground to denote where one country starts and another one ends? You see them all the time in cartoons. You know what I'm talking about. The dots on the ground. If they suddenly disappeared, you would notice. You would absolutely notice. Someone would see the workman turn up to just pull the decals off the floor, wouldn't you? You wouldn't... Jen, stop it! When we're at a normal comedy club, this is why there's a stage and you're not allowed in. I've got a chat on the screen here. Esme says Harry the dog doesn't like the monster. He's growling at the television. And Southern Train Girl says Jenny is getting revenge for the Monday Club. Oh dear. When I do it on the Monday Club, it's because you're not funny. Hang on. I've walked into the ultimate heckle comeback there, didn't I? Oh my goodness.
So when are you going to get funny?
I don't come to your shows and laugh. Oh. But anyway, with Amazon, someone would have noticed that workmen were going out to peel the decals off the floor and just move the border a bit. Why didn't anyone see them? Why wasn't it front page news? I just don't get it. Amazon, how did you think this was right? But by the way, Amazon want to deliver your parcels to your house by drone. But they can't tell you where the country is. They don't know where it stops, where it starts, how big it is and what direction it goes in. What happens if they decide, okay, you're not in the country you said you were in? Because when you bought this item from us, it was in one country. But now we've moved the border. So when we deliver it, it's in another country. Does that mean I have to pay... Jen's really knocked me off the monster. Does that mean I have to pay customs because they've changed what country I'm in? I don't think that's right. And also, what if they just decide that my house isn't where I know it is? They've decided somewhere else. If I buy a load of Star Trek replicas, do they get delivered to someone else because they've decided my house is over there? Who's getting my replicas? I want my replicas, Amazon. Give me my replicas. But moreover, if we do have to pay customs duty on, let's say, the life-size statue of Captain Kirk that I may or may not have ordered as a treat for myself, if he has a button to press that gives the entire history of the Federation, he presents it to you in a dramatic, Shatnerian way, where all of a sudden he is very slow and then speeds up when he's talking. If he presents the entire history of the Federation, can I get the VAT taken off because it's an educational item and therefore exempt? Amazon, I need to know the answers to these things. But talking about ridiculous stuff and American ridiculousness indeed, have you ever had a conversation with an American where it looks like they're speaking English, but really they're kind of not. They've actually got this weird code that sounds like English, but only they properly understand it. I'll give you an explanation. Let's, where am I going with this? Guys, oh my goodness. First of all, I'm out of my comfort zone. I'm not in the comedy club. Second of all, I've got a weirdo sitting next to me making funny faces just in my eye line, but not on camera. And third of all, well, I've spent most of the day dealing with her recordings and not dealing with the fine-tuning of my script. So I don't know it as much as I really would like to. So I do apologise if this is not quite up to the 100% top-notch, really fast-paced action I've just knocked. This is actually not a microphone, it's a prop. It's not even plugged in. I've got the end of it here. The microphone is this thing here in front of me. So if I knock it, that's why. Sorry about that. But
anyway, meanwhile, back to the humour.
Get off. Get off, you suck. Who said that? But speaking of ridiculous things, I have had some issues lately because I watch a lot of videos on YouTube. I think you probably all do because it's the lockdown and there's not much else to do, is there? Let's face it. So I've been getting some very strange adverts, and one of the adverts I've been getting is unskippable, and it's really annoying because it's this actor who's pretending to be a Russian builder, and he's not Russian. It's quite obvious he's not Russian, but he acts Russian, and he tries to explain to you what excellence is. Now, I'm sorry, Mr. Russian builder who's not Russian, but I know what excellence is. I speak English. I know what excellence is. I may not demonstrate it. I may have been sat in my pyjamas at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, still in bed eating crisps and watching YouTube. I may not be demonstrating excellence, but I understand what it is. So don't go patronising me. It's very, very annoying. Philip Page says a hairbrush would be better than the mic. Yeah, but if I smack Jen with a hairbrush, it doesn't have the same comedy sound as this.
Ow.
Evil, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know if you can even hear that. But the other thing is, there was this other advert, because YouTube hasn't insulted me enough with this patronising thing. They also want to try and sell me diets with diet adverts. And it's always Americans that are in these adverts, because it's something that you'll probably have noticed. So, with adverts, an American voice has a tendency to make things sound more cool to British people and more desirable. So they get a lot of Americans in to talk about this stuff. But it doesn't work when it comes to diets because of the code, the American language code. We don't speak the same language they do when it comes to weights and measures. And as a result, we have this odd situation. Oh, on this new diet, I lost 120 pounds. To an American, that sounds great. To me, as a Brit, that sounds expensive. 120 pounds. Our currency's pounds. So, how it goes in my head is this. This new diet is great. I lost 120 pounds. My goodness, that sounds expensive. Were you scammed? Did you get your money back? That's how it is. And it's not just that, but the claims are also ridiculous. 120 pounds. I converted that to proper weights and measures. That's 8 stone and a bit. That is the weight of an average child. So who have they got claiming that they've lost 120 pounds? They have a stick-thin, lovely-looking model with tight skin. And I'm sorry, but there is no way you are convincing me that that woman lost a child's worth of weight and doesn't show it. That's some excellent plastic surgery right there. Either that or she's got the biggest crocodile clip just on the back of her head, pulling all of her skin backwards. Because, come on. It's like that thing from Men in Black. It's like, and just pulling the skin tight. It's like, hello, is that better? Is that more believable? That's what I see with that. So a more let's see if we can get a more believable advert. How about this? Hi, I've got a new diet and it's wonderful. I lost 10 pounds. Alright, I can believe that. It is expensive, but you know, diet books are specialists, so I can understand you having to pay that much. That's more believable to me. £10, it's not a huge amount. It's like a stone and a bit, isn't it? So, yeah, I could believe that on a diet. That would be something that I would actually buy that diet. Let's put it that way. Because, yeah, that's more like it for me. But while I was talking, I am terrible for knocking this microphone. So I have to be careful. Normally I'm further away from the camera and the mic. Let's put it that way. So the funny thing is, I was talking to Jen about this advert, and she pointed out that there is one specific circumstance where we actually do use the American code for talking about weights. And it comes down... Jen, why are you destroying this entire room off the camera? You're a menace, woman. You're a menace. Jen is just destroying. She's going to demolish my room and put up another model train. I know what's going on. That's the plan. That's the plan. If I disappear halfway through this set, that's what it is. But she did mention one thing. So, she mentioned that in one specific circumstance, we use the American system for talking about weight. And that is when we're discussing babies. And I've worked out the reason for that. It's because babies, being very, very small, well, it's a bit of a handful, but you could technically put it in a recipe. And that's where it comes from. Weights and measures. A baby is about the size of something that might go on a list of ingredients, so we do discuss weights for certain people in the American system. But this causes a lot of problem for me as well, because I get into situations like this. Hey, I've just had a baby. It was 17 pounds. Labour was hell. My goodness. Congratulations. That is one expensive baby. Every time. I can't help it. It's every single time. And that is why often when you see me in the street, I will look like I've just been chased down the road by a new mother who just wants to beat me up with a packet of new nappies. Which I suppose is better than being beaten up with a packet of old nappies. So there is that. There's a bright side to everything. But I'm going to take a quick break and have a quick drink here. Talking to you guys, it's one of those situations where you do get a dry mouth. Oof, my goodness. Put the monster down, you horrible, horrible woman. Do you want to sleep outside tonight? She's horrible to me, you know.
She loves me to bits. She really does.
Which bit?
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that. Okay, guys. So I was talking about being chased down the street. But speaking of the streets, I was actually in town the other day. I had to go out for some essentials. Don't worry, social distanced. And I overheard a couple of guys talking. And one of them said the stupidest thing since that other guy who said London was the only real city. He said, I've got things falling apart everywhere here, guys. That's not what he said. That's what happened here. That's what she said. He said, liberals, what's their problem? They have 3,000 genders. And that got me thinking. Mostly it got me thinking, what on earth is this guy on about? But I have to assume that he read that off his phone, because that is not something that normally people who are normal would say to another person in everyday conversation. So certainly not in the street. He's got to have read it off his phone, because it really sounds like the kind of thing that you would hear someone put a comment on a Twitter or a YouTube comment thread. It's the kind of comment that edgelords say to other edgelords to tell them, yes, I am still a prick. That's the kind of level that we're at. And yes, I am going there, guys. Be ready for this. So, you've got to love these two genders cries, haven't you? Because they're just ridiculous. They might as well argue that there are only two Pokemon. We made up genders. They're a useful tool. You can demonstrate a lot of things by talking about genders. And it's a purpose that one time, having two of them, they worked. You could differentiate one from another, and that was useful. But now we want to talk about something a bit more wide, and we've added extra ones. You don't have to use them. Some people will. It's perfectly fine. But there are people who act as if they're real, as if they're scientific. It's like, one person is that, and one person is that, and you can't be both or neither or anywhere in between. You must be that or that. It's science, don't you know? But it's not science. So, let's get into this. For example, I cannot go and grab an electron microscope. Well, I probably can't because they're quite big. You couldn't grab one anyway. But if I couldn't grab an electron microscope and then take a look at the number of electrons that boy has and determine its atomic weight. I couldn't look on a periodic table and find the atomic weight of a dude. This is it. There's no science behind it. No one can tell me in a scientific textbook whether girls bond with one another covalently or ionically. There is no science to this. That monster is waving again. It's weird. All those scientists out there, they're not going out, all those gender studies scientists, they're not going out there and determining how many isotopes exist of the common gent. There's no one doing this. You can't go out and discover what the half-life of a ditzy 90s Valley girl is. Or, if they reach that half-life, you can't tell me what they break down into. Because it's not science. It was a useful definition at one point, but now we have moved on. So, to those people who do hang on to this weird notion of only two genders, can you please explain to me one thing? Why does it become so important to you what other people have in their pants? Can't you concentrate on your own pants and leave everyone else alone? Stop being weird about people's pants, you freaks. And that's all I've got to say on that. We have here from Fly Mode Chairman 1, one of the unnamed elements is Dude365. That sounds like a product from Microsoft. Do you have to subscribe to use Dude365? Is there a sign of triumph?
And does that mean that it doesn't work on leap years?
Yeah, if it's Dude365 on a leap year, what are you? Do you get to suddenly become just regular guy? Oh my goodness. But we'll stick with science because this week we've had some excellent news about a vaccine that will help with the COVID-19 pandemic. Flammer Chairman 1 says that joke was pants. So we've had this excellent news about the COVID pandemic. There's a vaccine, and apparently it has no serious side effects. Now, to most people, that sounds like fantastic news. Wouldn't you say? When you hear that there's this medical breakthrough and there are no serious side effects, it sounds amazing. For most people, that's true. Not for me. Now, I'm one of those people that the moment you hear something like that, the back of my mind says, does that mean there are some not serious side effects? Now, I'm not going to say that I'm a bit like that John guy that we were talking about last week, because I usually keep those thoughts to myself. I have those thoughts, and my brain will think about them and then decide, right, that's the worst case scenario, how do we deal with it? I don't usually give it out to others like John would. But I do think about it. So now, I'm going to share it with you because I have some interesting thoughts about this. What counts as a serious side effect in medicine? And what counts as not? Where do you draw the line? Do we have a situation here where it's like, well, it'll turn your hair green, but your bum won't fall off, so that's okay. That's not a serious side effect. If I take this vaccine, am I going to see flying trumpets? Or are my teeth going to get up and walk off? I need to know these things. Now, I'm one of those people that has to plan for this. So you have to tell me, where do we draw the line? What's serious and what's not? This is just strange. I can't be alone in thinking this. I hope I'm not alone in this, because that would pretty much suck. But I need to know, and that's what I'm saying, because this COVID stuff, it's serious, and we need to plan ahead. But there are some people that think other people have already been planning ahead. So I really want to talk about now the COVID conspiracy nuts. Now, I know you've come across at least one of these guys, because, let's face it, they're everywhere, and they're loud, and they talk all day because they've got nothing else to do. They like to talk about a plandemic, which, to be honest with you, that seems like a clever play on words. So one of them didn't come up with it. Oh, I'd like to know where it came from. And they honestly think that the government has created this virus in order to control the population. Yeah, you heard me. The government created a virus to control the population. The people who are in charge control the population. You heard this right. This is the circular logic of the conspiracy nuts. So I want to take a minute to break this down, because something that moronic, it needs scientific study, you know? I need to also blow my nose because, oh my goodness. So, what we got here. Let's have a proper breakdown of this. And let's see how this goes. So, first of all, let's take on the issue of the people who run the country needing a virus in order to control people. Have these conspiracy nuts not heard of this? And I know it might shock you, but there's this thing they know, and it's used to control people, and they call it the law. I don't know if you heard of it before. It's not a new thing, but it's been around for quite a while. So they have these laws, and if you don't follow them, you can go to jail. That's how they get you. That's how they control the laws. But the conspiracy nut, he goes, oh, but who makes those laws? Who gets to tell you what you can and can't do? That would be the government. But have you ever asked yourself why they make those laws? Yes, I ask that all the time. Usually when I'm looking at my phone and I'm going, oh my goodness, what have they done now? You know, they do it to control us. They want to keep us in our place. And at that point, I thought, hang on, he's got a point. The laws do keep you in your place. You do have to follow them. The government does want to control you. That's why they made up a law that says that you can't drive your car through your neighbour's house. And I don't care how much quicker you get to your garage, you're just not allowed to do it. There's a law against it. Or the fact that if you go down to the shops and get a sandwich, you've got to pay for that sandwich. You can't just kick the guy in the groin and then run off laughing. There's a law against that. The government does want to control you. It's made up some laws and you have to follow them, otherwise they send the police. That's how the government control you. And you know what? We voted them in so that they would make those laws to control people. Because sometimes you need to follow the rules. But I just don't get it. The government is there to do that job. It's there to run the country. That's what we voted for them. And they think it's a conspiracy? Come on. It just doesn't seem right. But let's move on. Let's put a pin in the stupid about the government wanting to control you when that's exactly what the government is for. Let's look at the other side of this. They think the government that you and I all know and are all just exasperated with, they think that they were capable of creating this new virus. Okay, let's look into that. Team Plandemic, as we'll call them, they honestly think that the government is capable of manufacturing a virus in secret and then unleashing it on the world in secret. Which government? Because it can't be ours. Have you seen our government? These are the same people that thought that a test and trace program for a country of almost 70 million people could be run on an Excel spreadsheet where each column consists of data for one person. Excel can only contain just over 6,000 columns per spreadsheet. But apparently the government thought that was enough for 60 million people, maybe even 70 million people. The two don't equate. This is the same government that once made a CD up of all the names and addresses and other personal details of millions of citizens and then just lost the CDs. Remember that time that to celebrate the millennium they turned a giant ball upside down and called it a stadium, and then it went millions over budget, so they sold it to be some kind of concert hall and they still didn't make their money back? This government, the government of all of these mistakes, apparently has the ability to, in secret, manufacture a virus that didn't automatically wipe out everyone that it touched. I just don't think it's going to happen. So, what do the conspiracy theorists say about that one? Well, I asked, and they said, but that's not the real government. We're not talking about the government that you see, we're talking about the other one. The shadowy government, the one that's behind the scenes pulling all the strings. You know, the New World Order and all of that. That's the ones that did it. The real government, not the fake one that's just there to distract you, the real one. And to that I say, do you honestly believe that there's a shadow government controlling all of the other governments when Donald Trump is still president? I don't. For one reason. He is currently having a meltdown because some people didn't count the way that he wanted them to count. Do you honestly think he wouldn't be there, right there on Twitter, just whining day and night about how people were telling him to do things he didn't want to do? There is no shadow government. He would have shouted about it. Moreover, that weird clown guy that loves nukes in North Korea, he's not going to follow them. So with these two morons running around wrecking the place up, how can there be some New World Order government without these two idiots telling everyone about it? Sorry, but that's where conspiracies always break down for me. Because there is always going to be one person who went to the top of the real live governments that you can see and that we can all see, got to the top of that, found out that he wasn't actually in charge even though he thought he was going to be and expected to be, and had big plans for what he wanted to do, and then just went along with their plans anyway. I'm sorry, but if you believe that there's a secret government, I've got a secret bridge to sell you. Alright guys, that's all I've got. So if you have enjoyed this, I would love a like and a share and maybe a subscription as well. And also, if you've got any questions, I would be happy to answer them now. So, Jen, what have we got in the comments?
Lots of smiley faces, and to be honest, it's been great. Don't forget, people, give it up for Zoe Kirk-Robinson. Like and share and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I mean, it takes a lot of guts to get up there in front of a big audience, and I don't know why I'm holding this microphone. I'm not even on screen. But yeah, it takes a lot of guts to get up on stage in front of a live audience in particular and go through a routine that believe me, she was still writing this morning. So I Definitely, yeah. And I think she's done really well. And it's been great having you guys as company for this. Thank you ever so much for dropping by, tuning in. And I hope that we've brightened up your Sunday evening, added a little bit of sparkle with some comedy. And of course, Zoe will be back, hopefully from the usual venue of the Book Nook in the Book Room Comedy Club. From hopefully next week. We will keep you posted on that. But we've also got a Monkey See, Monkey Build coming up with the Cupboard Monkey here. And that should hopefully be going out, what do you reckon?
Well, it'll go out as soon as I finish this little meow.
A little Cessna. But certainly it's been great fun.
I wouldn't say I'm obsessed with it, but we're getting there.
You are. But it's been great fun. Thank you ever so much, everybody. And give it a big round of applause for Zoe. And like I said before, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And it's been great. So without further ado,
we've just got a couple of things I want to read out. Flymo Chairman 1, thank you so much for all your comments tonight. He says that you've got the fog on the Tyne. I have. It's all mine, all mine. Fog on the Tyne's all mine.
Why, I was spooky man.
Jen, every single time when someone mentions the Northeast has to say, "Why I? Where's Spooky Man?"
But the thing is, Zoe said to me, no self-respecting Geordie would ever say, "Why I?" And then the first time that I
Not
met
to someone from outside the area, not to a foreigner.
And then the first time I met her mum, literally the first words that came across her mum's mouth were, "Why I?"
No, they weren't.
Yeah, they were.
They win it, man. What you like?
You go down Biker Grove.
Oh my goodness, Biker Grove. We looked it up on YouTube. We wanted to go for nostalgia, and we thought it'll give that warm, nostalgic glow. And what actually happened was we sat there just looking at it like, did we really, really used to watch this tripe and enjoy it?
Yeah, but that's where PJ and Duncan are from.
Well, they can go back there. PJ and Duncan was just annoying.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth Parkin, hi Beth. She's saying,
I think that's me.
It could be, how's the game collection coming? Well, you might be able to see some of it behind me. It's currently 77% of the PAL PlayStation 2 collection is in this room. Yes, literally in this room. The entire room is filling with PlayStation 2. And it's getting to the point where it's hard to find more games. Every time we go out, we go, it's like traipsing through the jungle and looking for the lost tribe of the Amazon. We just never find it, you know. So we're trying our best, because all of this, plus all the collections for the other consoles and things, they're all eventually going to become a museum. That's the idea. I want a museum
a museum to your wasted youth.
To my very well spent youth. And it's going to be great. I'm going to be able to sit on a second-hand sofa and play a game or two. There'll be nice machines set up and it'll be fun. That's my dream. That's what I want to do at the end of my life. It'll be wonderful. Anyway, we have a lot to do to get there, so
without further ado, let's just pull this one
off. Jenna's attacking me with a form axe. Look at it. This is a form axe. I got this at university. Most people went to university to study. I went to fight and do replica fights with axes and swords.
Why, hey, let's put that back in the grove.
I don't know what place you're supposed to be from, but that accent is not northern. All right, guys.
Which part of the northeast are you from? Bangalore.
Okay, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming along. I've loved it. I hope you have as well. Thank you very much. See you later. Book Room Comedy Club back next week. Really enjoyed it. Hope you have too. Thanks very much. See you later. Bye. I've got to press the button now, so bye. Where is the button? There it is. Flammer Chairman 1, as a final thing, says last in open freshers week. Oh my goodness, don't get me started.